All right. Should we get started?
I think, yeah.
That's what's up. All right. All right. Welcome everyone. Welcome fam. Um, let's get started. So let's do the kickoff. We're recording the session as well, so if you're missing this, you can catch up later. It's taking place in the Rives Discord. Um, very short here about the classic that we already discussed last week. But if you weren't here, get to see this again. What is Rives? It's also a fantasy console, a bit like Pico 880, but we're giving it our own spin. Mainly the main key difference here is that it's a verifiable fantasy console. Everything running in it is reproducible and can be essentially verified. So your gameplays um, can be truly yours, can be verified, and are shareable as tapes that can also be collected and so on. And cartridges can be sold and distributed in unique new ways. Um, so yeah, and so if you're trying to develop during a game jam, keep in mind that similarly to other fantasy consoles, you're not going to be able to use a traditional game engine. You have to use the Riv API, um, which aims to make some of these things a bit simpler, let's say, and you kind of go back to like kind of building a game like in the early days, pixel by pixel, which is quite fun as well, especially if you haven't done that before. It probably is a pretty unique and new experience to go down. Um, in very short as well, we have this concept of cartridges and of tapes where you essentially can collect cartridges. So games that are made during this game jam might become part of the first sort of roster of cartridges that will be available on Rives. Later down the line once we are on mainnet. So I think this is beyond the prizes. This is a great opportunity to also, if you want to build something, to actually start building and essentially potentially your game could be one of the games that people can collect, and which might bring you additional revenues as well, or some potential earnings from interesting games. So I think this makes it even more interesting. And then the concept of tapes here on the right is really about making players, also turning them into creators as well, because players can start generating interesting gameplays or interesting interactions with your cartridge, which these tapes can then also be collected, earning you as a cartridge creator also some potential fee, and also to the players as well, generating these tapes. But let's get to the actual game jam a bit. So today we are starting the game jam. It's the 17th of May. Really hyped to see what is happening. This is the first game jam, so if you're here, you're probably early, and really excited to have you. Um, and we'll have some more playtesting, including finishing the week 3 of playtesting until the 20th, which is happening now with Tetrix, and but yeah, really excited about this game jam that will last about a week until the 24th, and then we'll continue with some playtesting afterwards, but more on that soon. In terms of prizes for this game jam, we have the first game, which might be your game, which will take away 500 USD. Second game 350, and then the last game, or the third game. Sorry, not the last game. There's no last game. Everyone is a winner here. The third game takes away 150 USD, and obviously, as I mentioned, this is, we also want you guys just to have fun. So the prizes are, an additional sort of incentive. At the end of the day, I think this is a great opportunity to just try to build something fun. Furthermore, you have as I said, the opportunity to continue building out your game, and we want to support you in that as well. Like beyond the game jam, right? So if you're interested in building something during the game jam, even if you don't score within the top three, you can continue building that out in the coming weeks. And as I said, potentially this could be one of the launch games with Rives when we launch on mainnet, which can be really interesting for you as well, because we're gonna work really hard to bring in a lot of people, make a lot of buzz. So I think as a cartridge developer, this is a great opportunity, and we want you to be part of that as well. Um, a couple rules for this specific game jam. So games must be single player, and also we have this requirement that games must have some metrics to establish a score. So for example, for speedruns, right? Um, because Rives has this built-in demo and leaderboard system and can essentially verify gameplays and scores, so these types of games are quite interesting. They also lend themselves relatively well to tapes because um, speedruns are quite easy to grasp and um, yeah, make for great sort of recordings of gameplays that can be shared. On top of that, we have some game spec rules. So couple things that you need to keep in mind when building. Your display size limited to 256 times 256 pixels. I'm not going to go over all of this, but all of these details are in the itch.io game jam page. And again, as I said, take a look at the Riv documentation. There were some questions about using Unity or other game engines. That's not really the point, or it's not supported here. So make sure to take a look at the Riv documentation, where there's also a great tutorial on how to build your first Snake game on Rives. And I'd recommend checking that out if you're not sure what's going on. And that's about it. Now we can, I guess, enter some Q&A if there are any. We will be also answering any questions async through the Discord. I'm assuming time zone wise people aren't necessarily available at this time, but we'll be available at all times. Not at all times, sorry. We'll try to answer as soon as possible on the Discord. If you have any questions, just hit us up in the Game Jam channel. Or if you have any bug reports or whatnot, there's the appropriate channels for that too. But yeah, I think we can kick off some Q&A or just jam and vibe a bit amongst all of us here. I don't know if anyone already has some ideas of games they would like to see or would like to build, or if anyone has specific questions as well. Feel free to unmute yourselves and ask away. So let me just check out the chat. I see we got Shani really being very productive here. I don't know what she's talking about, but yeah, I'm curious, like, kind of what kind of games would you guys? Maybe you can talk about that. What kind of games would you like to see if there are no direct questions or immediate questions? Welcome, Elman Gamer. Yeah, so guys, any questions are welcome. If you're a bit lost if you have questions about the documentation, about about anything, just ask away.
What games are you looking forward to, Max?
I posted already a couple ideas in the Game Jam channel of people actually from the feedback from the community. I think those games would be cool. I think anything kind of ideally would be something around that can uniquely leverage the concept of tapes. I think so. Something that has a lot of replayability. Maybe some type of emergence. I think that would be ideal. But I don't expect people for this first game jam to go like too crazy. I think anything kind of fun is really more than enough. Any kind of game could even be like a Snake game where you modify the current game that Eduardo built. Like, I might try to do that if I get some time, but kind of blending Snake with something a bit creative where maybe your Snake movement generates some form of canvas or some form of like drawing, like, because I saw this Pico 8 game that I thought was pretty cool where your Snake moves and like the path that it takes, it always leaves like a trace. So you end up kind of like drawing a um, you end up drawing like you end up leaving a trace, and that I think that's kind of cool. Like it's super simple, right? It's nothing crazy, but I don't know. I could imagine like something around in that area, or at least for myself, maybe something I could try doing. Like you could write stuff but still play Snake. Um, but yeah, I see someone said Contra as well. That's cool.
I have a question, I guess, for what games would be possible. Because I'm not much of a competitive gaming in the sense that I care about scores. With something, are you familiar with Tamagotchis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's not.
Tamagotchis would be suitable. I
Yeah.
have enough processing for that, and you can make some beautiful pixel art Tamagotchi and different animals or
Wait, it would be suitable or
vegetables
wouldn't?
or whatever. Yeah, it would.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, because I'm wondering what would the the moments that you capture there, I guess the progress that you have with your Tamagotchi, or its health in that certain state, or you know?
Yeah, you could clip a part of the moment, like I don't know, when it refuses food in a cute way or something like this. Yeah.
Nice. Can someone make that happen? Thank you. Appreciate it.
Uh, so following on the games I like to see, I'd also like to see some kind of Contra. Arthur posted an idea in there that's kind of like Metal Slug, which I do think it's pretty similar to Contra, just updated with more vehicles, more guns and stuff. So that's something I'd really like to see. I also like puzzles a lot. Maybe do a mashup. Like, as Max said, you can just modify existing games, right? So you can think of crazy stuff like, I don't know, maybe you can pick up a snake and instead of eating apples, it's like a Tetris snake, which you should eat the piece that's in there in the right place, attacking from the right angle, right? Something like this. Because if you don't, then your snake grows like crazy, and if you do, it just shrinks, and you get more time to collect other pieces and do higher scores. Something crazy like that. So you can think of all sorts of things. Just be creative. Just remembering that it's better for you to just build directly on Rives. So Rive has a really simple API. It's meant for you to learn really fast and just to start experimenting and doing your thing without needing to learn a ton of stuff. So it's not meant to use like engines like Unity or Unreal or anything like that. It's just a one-man show, let's say. You design in your nice sounds. We have a cartridge to help you on that, so you can prototype your sounds in there, and then you can copy the parameters that generated that sound into your code. We have this nice game controller cartridge that's also good for testing your gamepad to map the buttons. Uh, we also have a playground on the documentation site, which is pretty good for you to get started, to play a bit, to explore the API without having to install anything. And in the documentation, we also got Snake Game, which is interactive. So there are a couple of implementations in the middle before the final implementation, and you can all execute that in browser. So that's pretty interactive and compelling, in my opinion. And yeah, as Max said, if you have an idea or something you want to discuss, you can just post on the channel and have other people go back and forth with your idea, give you feedback, help you polish it. And if you find any bugs, any issues, please report on the bug report. And if you need help, yeah, just scream and we'll come for your aid as soon as we can.
Is Rives based on another platform to like to port things to see another code and try to translate to Rives?
So Eduardo can speak directly if he wants, but it's mostly based on, inspired on other fantasy consoles. So in theory, you
the
could.
Rive the
The API is inspired on Pico 8. It's another fantasy console, and you can port other games. You just need to change the interface with the graphics, audio, and the inputs of the gamepad.
So explain how Doom was made, was ported to Rive.
So Doom was made for DOS originally, and it used the Windows functions to draw stuff and the audio. To port Doom, I have to throw all that out and replace using the Rive API. For example, to draw the screen, I have a function there that draw the pixels through the Rive API, and then you have the Doom screen. So basically that.
Yeah, interesting. If you, could you write the console here on the chat just to make a search that Rive was inspired by? I don't recall that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, there's some very cool Pico 8 games that I would recommend taking a look also for inspiration, and then thinking like maybe, you know, considering that here with Rise you have these verifiable tapes, like what would you like to see players generate, right? Um, can be a speed run, can be like a something funny, you know. It could be something more creative or artistic. Um, but yeah, Zach said a tycoon game. I like that.
Same. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah. There was someone who suggested Mr. Do Wild Ride clone. I think that's a little bit like, no, not like Tycoon, but like one of those attraction park ones.
It's close. It counts.
right,
Tycoon games are all kind of the same.
right. Yeah.
So one thing to check out, guys, is the Rives. We have this repo from Rive, which is the emulator at the core of Rives, and there's a demos directory in there, and there's a couple of examples in there. So if you want to get started, play a bit, it's a good place for you to experiment. There's this 2048 game and the Snake game, and there are also a couple of pretty simple hello words in different languages. And you can also find the tools that Eduardo developed in there, like the palette cartridge or the waveform designers and stuff like this. And so always good to take a look in there, and either for inspiration or just to get started.
Exactly. Any other questions? Maybe I saw a few cartridge ideas in the cartridge ideas channel. Carl, you wanted to talk about your idea a bit?
Yeah, I can. So mine is the Color Interactive Runner. So you know these ads that you see generally on your phone about these games that it's a runner sometimes with zombies, armies, or just colored guys. And if you go through some place, you get a boost. From another place, you lose mass health points, people from your army or whatever. So the idea is doing something like that, but the interaction is a bit more complex, right? So you could do it with colors in it. So crazy things like I don't know. Let's say your color is green, and green is blue and yellow mix, right? So if you go through a blue gateway, you would keep your blue component, but you would lose the other one, and you'd get smaller, right? So some crazy interactions that you could do with that, and so it's not only the ability, but it's also the quick thinking about what's the best path for you to take given your current mass and components of your color. I think that could make a pretty interesting game.
Cool. See Ronan also joined. Hey Ronan, good to see you. Katarino, welcome. Awesome. But yeah, I think I don't know. I don't want to put anyone under the bus here, but Lino, do you want to talk about your idea a bit, or Ronan? I don't know if it's on my side or not, but I saw you unmute yourself, but I couldn't hear you. Not sure if there was a. Yeah. Does anyone hear Ronan, or is it just me?
I don't hear him either.
I don't. Yeah.
Okay.
The idea that I posted on Ideas is a game like Vampire Survivors. But I think that Rise fits very well for these roguelike games where you start playing and you have some kind of random progression. So it keeps every game that that you every run very interesting, and you go through different paths and it would keep you involved. And I think Vampire Survivors has a lot of potential there because every time that you try, you can try a different build, you can earn new different power ups, and it's very addictive. And if you do like a very cool cartridge, you could also allow for new characters, new power ups, new foes be added through the Reeve through the Reeve in cards. So you can always expand. That's a very cool possibility.
Nice. Very cool. Ronan, you want to give it a shot?
Yeah, do you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
now we do.
Okay, good. Yeah, so I'll be there only for like 25 minutes maybe, but wanted to join. Really like starting to read the docs. I really like the vibe of the thing, and might spend some time on it this coming week. Yeah.
Let's go. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, I mean we were just having some chit chats now about some ideas of what people might want to build or might want to see, but if anyone has questions or so yeah, there's no specific agenda at this point. So anyone feel free to ask away or uh, share your ideas or whatever, you know. No we're just chilling at this point.
One more game idea that I always like is a tower defense. So if you design a good tower defense, you'll definitely get my vote.
Shani, share more on Suika.
Do you know the game?
No.
No, gotta Google it.
It's so essentially you shoot fruits and you want to connect them so they disappear. It's the most stressful, shitty little game, but it's so competitive to yourself just makes you tilt a lot. So I'm wondering if that could be a thing.
Interesting.
A lot of streamers actually started playing this, and it's blown up quite a lot. And I think it also has been remade in Pico 8.
Probably.
Yeah, it has. Anyway. Yeah,
Cool
that's
idea. Yeah. Ronan, what would you like to see? What kind of games would you like to see on Rives?
So myself, I was thinking to either do like a shmup kind of game, or yeah, just trying learning. But I was also thinking when I read the idea, a roguelike could be interesting too. But otherwise, yeah, I don't know.
Right, right. What's shmup, by the way?
It's like side scroll shooter.
Oh, I see. That's fun.
Like yeah, you are a spaceship and you move left and right and you shoot stuff coming to you.
No, classic. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Salamander-like games, I'm also addicted to them. Especially if you have a great roster of weapons. And I also like those auxiliary ships that go around you and just double or triple your damage. Let's see here if I find a good video or reference for Salamander.
R-Type is one of these games as well.
Sandtilt, Katarino, or Sukur, do you guys have any, or Halo, do you guys have any questions or any ideas of games you'd like to see?
No, I can say something that someone said welcome to me, but my microphone was bad. But now it is good. Thanks.
Awesome. Welcome again.
Thanks.
So, Katarina, are you gonna build something, or what's your are you just chilling or getting some ideas?
Oh, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Makes sense.
Another idea, I mean, a classic is Asteroid type of game.
Yeah.
No. I'm new. I need to study more about that. Okay.
Of course. Yeah. No rush. Like take your time. But Asteroids indeed is that's a classic Ronin. Was that one of the first games that was ever launched, or like an early game, right?
It's an early game, but I don't think it's the first, right? I think the first was like Pong or something.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I think the very first is Space War, but I think if you look at the history, I think there was some games that we don't know the name that were before that people play, and I think Space War was the first one to be really a game, but it was played on a, how you call this, oscilloscope. So it was kind of a hardware-based game, but yeah, and then Pong is probably the first as well after, yeah.
For sure. Yeah. We had a Felipe. You had a Pong. I don't know if it's still up on the Rives page, but like a Pong co-op game, right?
Yeah, I had a mix-up of Pong and Breakout. It was meant to be played by two players in the same computer, right? The same console.
Right. That's cool.
So it was a mashup of two very early games. Yeah.
Indeed.
Or you control both.
Sorry?
Or you can control. You can use both controls yourself.
Oh yeah, of course you can control both. That's true.
Hardcore mode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Towerfall would be really nice, Max. But I think it's too complex for a game jam, probably.
Yeah. Shani.
Have you ever played?
Overcooked?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say that Max was a bit stressed out when we tried it.
Oh, really? He wasn't the
Yeah.
the chef.
We didn't play
Yeah,
that
he was
long.
about to. He was about to shut down the Switch. But yeah.
Shut up, that's not
that
true.
that bad, huh? That bad.
Is that really I don't think that's
Yeah.
the case. I don't remember playing this game that much.
But you played.
Exactly.
You tried it, right?
Towerfall, I remember playing and being really good. And Carla being like
Oh yeah.
kind of mad because I had skill and he played this game so often and he was kind of shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think we call that copium in here.
For sure.
Yeah, that's how it went on his head, But yeah. I mean, I shot him so much, so I caused brain damage. So sorry.
It calls right now. Maybe that's why you couldn't play Overcooked that well. It is a stressful game, though.
Yeah.
Anyone
But
else?
Overcooked on Rise, I think it might be cool.
How would that work exactly? Or how could you take elements from Overcooked?
Well, it's pretty much a game in which you have some resources that you have to handle them in different ways, right? And then you have to put them together in a delivery, right? So you would have a timer or something. You have these things decaying if you want to make it harder. And then you have all the mechanics that Overcooked has, right? So collisions, so players have to coordinate. If they try to go on the same narrow space, they just block each other out. This kind of stuff, right? I think it's a matter of creating the processes and let your imagination run wild and test a lot, right? Because balancing this stuff, it's a bit hard, right? Either it becomes too easy or it becomes impossibly hard, and you ruin friendships, as you said.
I think friendships will be ruined.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited. Let's see what people build on this first hackathon. Let's see all the feedback that we get to improve this thing for the future generations, right?
For sure. I'm curious, Eduardo, do you have any games you'd like to see? Or I'm assuming you're gonna be working on some tools or some cartridge tools, right?
Yeah, I will be working on some tools.
Which ones?
I would like to see some simple games, like the old arcade games from Atari. I think most of them are simple to implement, so it should not be difficult for people.
Right.
You want something like Space Invaders with a twist?
Yeah, Space Invaders especially. Yeah.
Nice. And what tools are you thinking of building?
I'm thinking building some tools to help people create maps, games that has tile maps. So I'm working on this page on the documentation about drawing sprites, and I'm creating some tools for it.
What are tile maps?
It's a grid of tiles. Tiles is squares on the screen.
Okay. So some maps have like tiles and some don't.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
If you want to make a top-down game, you need a tile map system.
I see.
How did you do the helicopter maps?
It's also a tile map. Use the tile editor. Share the link. It's a level editor to create maps for games. You can create map for your game, then export it.
It's a bit
Interesting. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm hyped for that. I feel like you've been shipping a lot of tools and cartridges. Every other day there's a new one. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to make the documentation more complete,
Right.
so people don't have difficulties on creating cartridges.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, everyone here, if you guys end up building something and going through the docs, like, let us know if you have any doubts somewhere, and or if there are any gaps. You guys will be some of the first builders going through it, and yeah, so we're hyped to see what you guys build, and I don't know if there's any other questions or thoughts. Otherwise, we can close off the call a bit earlier. Shani, I think, yeah, Shani, you're the Stardew Valley person with Carlo. Both of you guys could build a Stardew Valley sort of game. Carlo can farm his garden.
I'm not really a Stardew Valley kind of person. I like games with action and.
Yeah, but you can. I think you'd be good at, like, it's quite zen, you know. You can make your garden and generate a tape and show the world your beautiful garden.
That's a lot of action, tending to your cows and chicken.
Yeah.
Watering your plants, you know? Harvesting your potatoes is great.
Yeah, I guess it's a extended version of Tamagotchi, right?
Pretty much. More epic.
It is like a plant version of Tamagotchi.
More like a farm version.
Yeah, garden version.
Community version.
But yeah, particularly I want to see some shooter. Metroidvania, also good genre. Someone makes a Contra or a Metal Slug or something like this. Totally want to test it. And yeah, let's see what people come up with.
For sure. Awesome. Then yeah, guys, let's keep the convo going on the Discord chats. Thanks everyone for joining. We're really, really hyped about whatever you guys cook and are here for. Any questions or any support, feel free to ping us, especially Carlo. Ping him at any time. He doesn't sleep actually, so no, I'm just messing around. But feel free to ping us, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And yeah, let's keep rolling, let's keep strolling, let's keep vibing, whatever. And we talk soon, guys. Thanks for joining. Yeah,
thanks guys. And as Max said, feel free to ping anyone, and we will just answer as soon as we can. Have fun.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye guys.